At the end of this video, you will be able to make all these type of documentary style effects and animation using free version of Davinci Resolve. This is beginner-friendly course and you only need basic knowledge of Davinci. So, let's start with this most famous map animation.
So let's open Davinci Resolve. So first of all, this is my project settings. I am using 24 frames per second for this tutorial. I am using an image of map and a PNG of an aeroplane. Let's start with creating a new Fusion composition. Drag and drop it in the timeline and open it with Fusion page. Add a black background node and connect to the media out. Now get the map image from the media pool. You can see the size of our map image is smaller than the resolution of our timeline. So we will connect our map image after our background node and change the size with the help of transform node. Now add the paint node from the toolbar. Select the polyline stroke tool and add 2 points. Add the first point where you want to start the animation of line. Add the second point at the ending of the line. In the Inspector tab, go the brush control and you can change the style of brush like circular or square. You can also change its size. You can make the line curved by clicking on this dot, and by selecting this little yellow dot, you can move the handle upwards for the curved shape of the line. Use Ctrl+Z to undo if you accidentally added another extra point. Now go to Stroke Control and then increase the spacing to make this a dotted line. You have option to change the shape of dots to square. I have tried this but it is not working properly because of the curved shape of the line. For now keep it circular dot. I will show you another way to make it using text node at the end of this video. Now let's animate this line. Go to frame 15 or the time where you want to start animation. Add a keyframe on the right on option and decrease the end value to 0. Go to frame 75. And increase the value to 100. You can see the animation. For adding drop shadow to this line, firstly disconnect the paint node, get a background node and connect it to the paint node, and decrease the alpha value of background to 0. Now you can add drop shadow to this line. Change the location and strength of the shadow as you want. Now reconnect it to the pipeline. You can also add soft glow effect to the line if you want to. Now let's add location marks. You can use image of location marks, but I am making it myself in Fusion. So let's grab a background node and add ellipse mask to it. Make it small. Add another ellipse mask. Its size should be bigger than the first one. Now select the first ellipse node and change its paint mode to subtract. You will see little hole in the circle and you can adjust it as you want. Now add a polygon to the second ellipse node. And draw a triangle. A triangle. You can adjust each point for better shape. You can see we have a good location mark. Now add this to the pipeline. You can select the background node and change its color. Now add a transform node to make this location symbol smaller. And you can also place this mark to the starting position of the line. Now select the merge node and go to the frame 15, then add keyframe on the blend option to show this mark only when the line starts moving. I just keyframe the blend to 0 on the frame 14, keyframe the blend to 1 at the frame 15. Now add the location symbol at the ending point on the frame 75. Just add another transform node, and add the output of this background node to the input of the transform node, connect it to the pipeline. Change the location of the second symbol to the ending point of the animated line. Now animate it to appear on at the frame 75. Just select the merge node and add keyframe on the blend option. Make it 0 at the frame 74 and 1 at the frame 75. Now add the aeroplane image from the media pool. Add to the pipeline, change its size and location. Add keyframes on the X and Y axis on the 15th frame and the 75th frame. And change the position at the 75th frame to the ending point of the line. Click on this little yellow dots to change the curve of the line as we did earlier with the curve of the dotted line. You can also animate the rotation of the aeroplane by adding keyframes on the angle. Now select the merge node, animate the blend option to show the aeroplane only between the frame 15 and 75, just like the location marks we animated before this. Now let's add the zoom effect in the edit page. Go to the starting of the clip and add keyframes of all the parameters of the transform option by clicking on this dot. Now go to the frame where the animation of the line starts, in my case it's on the 15th frame. And add keyframe on all parameters. Now use the zoom and the position options to focus at the starting point of the aeroplane. And decrease the value of yaw to around -0.340 to make it more professional looking zoom. Now go to the frame which is the ending of the plane animation. Add keyframe on all parameters of transform. Adjust the position to show the ending point of the aeroplane. Now go to the last frame of the clip and add keyframe on all. Double-click on the zoom, position and yaw to reset it to its default value. You can adjust the position if your plane is not showing fully in the screen. Now go to Fusion to add to clouds in the starting and ending of. Firstly, add a fast noise. Change its settings for better look. You can note and use these settings. Now we will add zoom effect to the clouds. For this, add the keyframes on the very first and the last frame having scale value of around 5.25. Also add keyframes on the frame 15 and the frame 90, and decrease its scale value to 2. Now in the merge node, make fade out and fade in effect by animating its blend option. Just animate the value of blend to 1 at the very first and the last frame. And decrease the value of the blend to 0, at frame 15 and the 90. This will show the clouds only for the first 15 frames and after the frame 90. You can also add some text. It is very easy. I will not show this because this video is becoming too long. Now if you wanted to make this line with square of rectangular dots, it can be done with the help of text node. I am turning off this merge node to remove this line. Now add text node. And type the minus sign about 20 or 30 times as per the length of the dotted line. Go to the layout section and change it type from the point to the path. Now add 2 points where you want the starting and ending of the line. Line is shorter. You can type more minus sign. Now using these yellow dots you can move the handles to make a curved line. You can add drop shadow and glow effect on it. And you can also animate its timing using the write-on parameter given within the text node, just like we animated in the paint node. So this is the final result. First of all, watch this video.
तीनों का प्रोसेस एक दूसरे से काफी अलग-अलग है। पहले इनके हाउस को देख।
So you may have seen this waving flag background in documentary type videos. Today we will create this effect in Davinci Resolve. So let's open Davinci Resolve. Add your map image from the media pool to the timeline. Now go to Effects and search for Flying Flag Effect. Then drag and drop this effect on the image. You can see the effect, it's looking good already. Let's make some adjustments. Go to the inspector, then Effects, and increase the scale so that the flag covers the whole screen. The effect is ready. Let's reset the scale and see what other options we have to make this better. So we can increase or decrease the wind strength to make the effect faster or slower. Use the bump scale to make it flatter or more bumpy. We can twist the flag and increase or decrease its strength. We can bend the flag if we want to use for making another effect like adding the flag to a pole. And we can rotate the flag on X, Y, and Z axis as per requirement. We also have the option to flip the flag. For now I am just increasing the scale. Once you are satisfied with the effect, you can add your green screen video. Now I am showing you briefly. I will make separate video on green screen tutorial. So let's open this clip in Fusion and add a Delta Keyer node. Select the green color with the color picker tool to remove it. I am using transform node to make the clip larger to get rid of extra parts like this logo. We can also change the scale and position in the edit page. Let's add some drop shadow to the image. Search it in the effects and then drag and drop on the clip. We can change the strength, angle or color etc. of the drop shadow. If you want to add vignette on the entire clip, you can add an adjustment clip on top of our clips. Just search and add adjustment clip. Now if we add any effect on this adjustment clip, it will be added to all the clips which are under the adjustment clip. So open this adjustment clip in Fusion page and add vignette node. And adjust its size or softness as per requirement. So this is the final look. First of all, open Davinci Resolve and add the images. I used image of flag, world map, some clouds and a fighter plane with transparent background. Then I created a new Fusion composition and added to the timeline. Then opened it in Fusion page. Firstly, this is just a black background. Then I added an image of world map, transformed it, and in the merge node I added some keyframes to give a little zoom effect. Then I added the flag image and applied the flying flag effect to it. Then I added ellipse mask to give cellular look and added a paper edge effect. In the merge node I just increased the burn in value to 1, for giving this look to the flag. Now let's talk about the clouds. I used a simple picture of a cloudy sky. And removed the sky with Luma Kia. The edges were so sharp, so I used ellipse mask to add some softness to the edges. After that I added color corrector node to give a little yellowish look to the cloud. Then I duplicate the clouds and added keyframes to give motion like this. Then I used a PNG of a plane and added a transform node to give it a movement. I just animated its location using keyframes on the x-axis. I used another merge node to add more clouds in the front of the plane. You can see the plane is now behind the cloud. Lastly, I copy and pasted the plane to add second plane and adjusted its size. You can use keyframing in the transform node to give movement, and it is also possible within the merge node. Today I am going to show you how to create this text highlighter effect with advanced animations in Davinci Resolve. Everyone on YouTube is creating this effect in edit page, but this method has some problems, but I will show you the solution and second advanced method also. So under first method, add your image to the timeline, then add a solid color image from the effects on top of first image. Go to inspector and change its color as you want. Now in the settings, go to crop option. Here you can crop this image from all sides to adjust its length and width. If you can use this little option on center right side to select crop option. Now you can adjust it according to the size of the text using these little dots. Now go to the composite option and change the blend mode to multiply, and you will see the text through it just like highlighter. You can click on this little crop option to unselect the crop handles. If you want to animate it, you can add keyframes on this crop right parameter. Now let's talk about the problem with this method. So when you try to animate the whole clip, the highlighter will no move along with the background. Don't worry, I will tell the solution in few minutes. Now let's talk about the second method where we have more advanced options. Set your project settings to 30 frames per second. So add your image to the timeline and open it in the Fusion page. Now add a background node and connect it to the pipeline as shown in the video to merge it on the first image. Now grab a polygon node and connect it to the blue triangle of the background node. The blue triangle is the mask input. It allows to show the image only where we draw the polygon. So draw the polygon by clicking on the point where you want to start the highlighter, and then at the ending point. Increase its border width, as per the width of the text line. You can change its edges to round or square. I am keeping it round for now. Now select the background node and change its color to green. Select the merge node and in the apply mode option, change the blend mode to multiply and decrease its blend value, as per the background image. If your main image is black with white text, you can change blend mode from multiply to screen. To give it more realistic look, search and add paper edge effect after the background node. Type in search box and it will be in these templates. Add it after the background node. Let me make this preview window larger. In the inspector panel you can change the border color of this paper edge effect, and this color should be the same green color which we had selected for the background node. For getting same color, you can use this color picker tool to pick the color. Just click and hold, then drag this onto the desired color on the preview window. We don't need this shadow, so just decrease its alpha value to 0. Decrease the edge contrast to 0.38. and edge roughness to 16.54. This will make the highlighter more realistic. Without this it was just simple and straight line. Select the polygon node and animate it by adding keyframes on this length parameter. Go to frame 15th and add a keyframe on length. Then decrease the length to 0. Then add a keyframe on the frame 75 and increase the length to 1. You see the highlighter is starting form this green dot which should not appear before the frame 15. We can fix this by adding keyframe on level. Just add a keyframe on frame 15, set the level to 0. Then on the frame 16th, set the level to 1. Now you can see the animation is looking perfect. Now it's time to give it more professional look by animating the overall clip in the edit page. First of all I am adding markers, to make it easy to understand what is going on and on which frame. You can add the markers by clicking on this blue marker option on the toolbar, or just by pressing M on the keyboard. You can hit backspace for removing it. You can click on Fusion page to see on which frame your playhead is, and come back to the edit page to add marker. So I have added markers on the frame 1st, 15, 75 and 90. And on the same frames I will add keyframes on all of the transform parameters. This is because on the frame 15 the highlighter animation starts and on the 75 the highlighter animation ends. And we just need to change values of zoom, position, pitch, yaw or rotation etc. at the frame 15 and the 75. So, on the frame 15, increase the zoom and adjust the position. And try to bring the highlighted line in the center. and increase the yaw to 0.400 to give this effect. I will show the final settings later. You can copy those values for the exact same animation. Similarly on the 75th frame. And change the yaw to -0.400. Try to bring the highlighted line in the center. Now your animation is ready. Here are the values of my transform settings for this animation. You can pause and note these values. This is for the first clip. This is for the second clip. So if you use first method to add highlight effect, you can select both of the clips, then click on it, and click on New Compound Clip. Now you will get a new clip. And now when you will animate it, the highlighter will move along with the main clip. Now it's time to add blur and vignette for the final look. Firstly, add an adjustment clip on top of our main clip. All the effects that we apply on adjustment clip will be applied to our main clip. So open the adjustment clip in Fusion page. Now add defocus node. And increase defocus size to 5.51. Then add ellipse mask to the blue triangle mask input of the defocus node. Decrease the height of the mask. And then invert the mask. Then increase the soft edge value. Then move the mask little upwards to show the area you want to highlight. The blur will affect only outside the masked area because we have inverted the mask. Now add vignette node and change its size and smoothness as you want. It depends upon the main clip, you have to set it accordingly. So this is the final look. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. Today we will learn how to create this text match cut effect in Davinci Resolve. This effect is very famous in documentary style YouTube videos. So let's open Davinci Resolve and add your images to the timeline. Before starting, make it sure that the text you want to highlight should be in the center of the image. For example, if you search on Google to get some screenshots, avoid images like this. Here is the trick that I use often. Just play with zoom in and out option and try to bring the text in the center. You can zoom in and out by pressing Ctrl key and rotating the scroll wheel of the mouse. And you can also make the window smaller from here and adjust its size to change the location of the text to the center. So, after getting images, come back to Davinci and add the images to the timeline. Select all of the clips, right-click and then click on Change Clip Duration. And select the frame option and type here 5. And click on Change. This will make all the images 5 frames longer. Now click on this gap to select it, and right-click and select Ripple Delete to delete this gap. We can also select all of the clips, then go to Edit and click on Delete Gaps to delete all of these gaps at once. Now search in the effects, solid color. Add it on the top of these clips, change its duration like this. Change its color. Then crop it from all sides and make little box to use it as a reference location for the main text that we want to highlight. Decrease its opacity so we can see the text behind it. Now move the playhead on the first clip, select the first clip, and in the inspector panel, change its zoom and position to fit the main text in this little box. In this way, do the same process for all of our images. Now we can rechange the opacity of this little box back to 100. And use crop options to make it like an underline effect. We can also animate it by adding keyframes on crop right option. Now, just add an adjustment clip on top of our clips. And open it in Fusion page. Now add a blur node, and increase its strength little bit. Then add a rectangular mask, change its size and location. And invert the mask. You can see everything is blurred except our main text. Now increase some softness of the edges from soft edge option. You can change the strength of the blur according to your image. Moreover, we can add vignette effect to make it more professional. Now it's time to add sound effects. You can use any match cut sound effect. But I am using this flashlight sound effect from Davinci Sound Library. I just cut out small part of it. Hold Alt key and copy it by click and drag. Make as many copies as you want, and place the effect when the image changes. Let's play and see how it looks. If it seems slower, we can change its speed by selecting all of these clips including audio, and then right-click and select Create a Compound Clip. Now we can increase the speed of this compound clip. Now it is looking good. You can use more images if you want. But I am just copying the first clip just to make this tutorial. Now it's time to make it more interesting by animating the yaw and pitch. With the adjustment clip selected, add keyframes at the very first frame on the yaw and pitch. And change its values as shown in the video. And similarly at the last frame, changes these values to opposite side. If you start seeing some black area here, you can fix this just by increasing the zoom and adjusting the position. So, this is final result. Without wasting time, let's see how we can make this animation in free version of Davinci Resolve. Open Edit page of Davinci Resolve. Create a new Fusion composition and add it onto the timeline. You can change its length according to your requirement. Now open this clip in Fusion page. So, I am adding this clip to the left preview window to use it as a reference. And in the right preview window, you will see what I am creating now. Let's start with a background having a paper effect. Just search paper in the search box and it will be in these templates. Connect this to the media out, and just pause the video and note and use these values for making exactly same background. Now add a background node. We will create this blue circle. So add an ellipse mask to the background node. You can see the circle. Now we need to connect the width and height parameter together, because changing them independently will spoil the shape of the circle. So, right-click on the height, and click on Expression. Now connect it to the width, as shown in the video. You can see both are connected with each other. So, change the size as you want. Now we will create this green part of the circle. Just do the same process to add another circle. Add a background node. Add an ellipse mask to the background. Connect the width and height parameter together. And change its color to green by selecting its background node. Now you can see the second ellipse. Now if we uncheck this solid option, we can change its size from this border width option and main options also. You can use this length option to control the length. Now select this first cap style option and see the effect. Play with these options to get the required shape. Zoom to see the corner correctly. You can click on these three dots and hide the controls from here. Now you can see better and fix this corner. Don't forget to enable the Show Control option after you have made the required shape. Now you can use the length option to animate the circle. For example, bring the playhead on the frame where you want to start the animation and add a keyframe on length parameter with value of 0. Bring the playhead to the ending point and change the length to 0.25. You can see the animation. Always remember, if 0 means 0% and 1 means 100%. You can type 0.1 for 10% and 0.15 for 15% and so on. Sorry, I forgot to change the color of this circle to blue. You can change it from this background node. Now it's time to add this white border. We will add this behind this green part of the circle. Let me make some space here. Now copy this ellipse node and paste instance of this node. Paste instance means, if we paste instance of any node, and if we make any change to the original node, the new node will change automatically. So, add a background node, connect the output of the ellipse node to the blue triangle of this background. And merge it here. Firstly, change its color to white. Now select the ellipse node. We cannot see this because it is behind the green part of the circle. Right-click on the width and then click on de-instance. Similarly, de-instance the height. De-instance means we have disconnected these parameters from the main node. Now if we increase the width, we can see the border. Let's talk about the number counter. Firstly, add a text node. Now right-click on this text node, then click on Edit Controls. If you want to learn in detail, I will make a separate video, just check video section of this channel. And for now just type the word counter here in the box. And select text in the page options. Enable this integer option. Then type 100 in the maximum range box. Then select the slider control, then click on OK. This will create a new control called counter, here in the bottom. Now right-click here in the blank area where we normally type the text, and click on expression. Now if we connect it to the counter like this, we can move this slide to change the counter, and also animate it as we want. Now if you want to add percentage sign next to the counter, it is little bit complicated. Because if we add another text node, then type any symbol. For example, this percentage symbol. Let me change its location first. So, you will see the numbers will overlap the percentage sign when we increase the number. So you have to keep some gap between them. We can solve this problem. So, let's delete this extra stuff. and type this expression in this box. I will provide this expression in the description box of this video. And you can copy and paste that expression. This will solve our problem. Moreover, you can use it in many other ways also. I will explain that in another separate video. So, coming back to the topic. Now it is very simple to animate this counter option. Just add a keyframe where you want to start the counter. And set its value to 0. And move the playhead where you want to end the animation, and increase the value as you need. For example, here we need 25%. So, you can see the animation looking fine. Let's talk about how we can use images in pie chart. Just add the image here after this merge node. It should be on top of all of the images. Now in the merge node, we can adjust location. Now if we add any mask to the merge node, we will see this flag image only inside the mask. You can see here in the left preview window. The flag is only visible where the mask is of white color. I am deleting this mask, this was only for demonstration. Now see this ellipse 2 mask that we have used to make green part of the circle. Just add its output to the blue triangle of this merge 5 node. Now you can see the flag image is visible only in the green part of the circle. Similarly, we can add the world map image. But it should not be on top of all of the previous images. If you remember, we had used the merge 1 for the blue circle. So, we have to add our world map image after this merge 1. Now, simply use the output of ellipse 1 as a mask of our world map image. And you can see it is only visible inside the blue circle. You can change its location and size from this merge node. Finally, you can add the other texts, which is very easy. And, to animate this line, just use this right on option. Set this value to 0 where you want to start the line. And set this value to 100 where you want to complete the line. Moreover, if you want to hide this global GDP text before the 20th frame, you can animate the blend option by selecting its merge node. Just animate the blend to 100 at the frame 20 and 0 at the frame 19. Similarly, animate the counter also. At last, to make scale up animation of the blue circle, just animate the width and height of the ellipse node. Add keyframes on the width on the 20th frame, so that its size remains same at this frame. Now go few frames back, and decrease its size to 0. We just need to animate the width only because we have used expression to connect the height parameter to the width parameter. You can see the animation. And if you don't understand any part of the video, please let me know in the comments, so I can improve it in future.
Today we will learn how to create this rolling text animation in Davinci Resolve. Believe me, this is the easiest way to create this effect. Let's start by creating a new Fusion composition. Drop it on the timeline and open it in the Fusion page. Firstly, add a background node and connect it to the media out node like this. Decrease its alpha value to 0 to make it transparent. Now grab a text node and merge it here like this. Type any word you want. And increase its tracking value little bit. This will help you later, while animating it. Now search and add a duplicate node, and join it after the merge one node. Select the duplicate node. Type here 15 to make 15 duplicate copies. Increase the value of y-axis to move the copies upwards like this. Now we want duplicate copies of the text below this main text also. We can select the text node, and here in the Transform tab, we can move its position downwards like this. This was the reason why we made more duplicate copies than required. Now make it sure these texts cover the whole screen properly. Select the duplicate node and adjust its position from the y-axis. And try to fit it properly in the screen. Now add a transform node to the pipeline, so that we can move it upwards or downwards on the y-axis. But you can see the text is only visible inside this green box. Just change its edge type from canvas to wrap. This will automatically create unlimited copies and these texts will never go off the screen. Now if we connect a rectangle mask node to the blue input of transform node, you can see the text is moving only inside this rectangle mask. And with the help of this rectangle, we can control a single letter of this word. Let's change the size of this rectangle to cover the first letter. Now we can control the position of the first letter separately. We can copy and paste this rectangle and change its position to cover the other letters also. Let's skip the second letter and adjust the rectangle on third letter. So, do the same process by skipping one letter. You can also add this rectangle right here, both ways are same. In this way you can move these letters to one side and skip every alternate letter. I think the letter T should move instead of the letter H. Let's fix its mask. Now it looks fine. You can see this mask in left preview window. The transform node is only working inside the white area. Now add another transform node for the remaining letters. We can use the same mask for this new transform node, and here in the settings, we can invert this mask. Now we can control the remaining letters from here. And don't forget to change this edge type to wrap. Let me turn off left preview window, and make this window larger. Let's animate the movement of the letters. Select the first transform node, and add a keyframe on the starting of the clip. Now at the ending of the clip, moves it upwards like this. Let's type 4 in this Y value. Text is moving faster. So let's try 3. And this looks fine. Now do the same process for the second transform node. Just type negative value to move the letters downwards. You can see this effect. We can also make it smoother by using the spline panel. Just turn on these curves. Select both keyframes and press S on the keyboard to make it smoother. And do the same for the second transform also. You can see the animation is now smoother. Now we want to show only single line on the display. Let's grab a new background node, disconnect these nodes from the media out node, and connect the new background with the media out node. Now merge these nodes onto the new background like this. Grab a new rectangle mask node and connect it to the blue input of this merge node. Change the size of the rectangle mask according to the text you want to display. Increase the soft edge to make the edges smoother. The effect is ready. Let's see it in the edit page. We also need to fix the last frame. So go back to the Fusion. You can turn on the guides by pressing Ctrl+G on the keyboard. You can see this line is in the center of the text on the first frame. So, at the last frame adjust the text according to the line. Similarly, select the second transform and adjust it also. Furthermore, you can also turn on the motion blur from these transform nodes. But it is not working properly right now while I am recording this, maybe because I am recording at lower frame rate project settings. It looks better with 60 frames per second. And you have to fix the motion blur according to your project. You can use any background instead of this black background. Or you can use it anywhere just by exporting it with transparent background. Finally, these are some effects which I created in same way. This effect was made using the counter. Here you can see, instead of simple text, I used a simple counter. Which you can learn by watching this video on my channel. This is just a simple counter without any complicated expression. I have animated this counter. Then I just increased spacing between the numbers. Most important, I have set this anchor to left. So that the numbers always stay aligned to the left. This dollar symbol is added separately, because I don't want to add rolling effect to this symbol. Finally, I applied some soft glow. If you don't understand any part of video, just tell me in the comment box. See you in another video. In this video you will learn how to make this number counter effect. How to add symbols like this dollar with these numbers using expression in the Fusion page, and how you can save this animation to reuse it later in other projects. All this is possible within the free version of Davinci Resolve. So, let's start with creating a new Fusion composition, and open it in the Fusion page. You can use any image or video, but I recommend to use a black background. Because we want to make it reusable, I will show you that trick later in this video. Now add a text node and merge it like this. To create a slide control like this, just right-click on text node and then select Edit Controls. Here we can add new parameters to existing node. It's very powerful tool. So, type here any name as you want for your new control. And for naming this ID option, just click here, it will automatically give it name. I am changing its name just to explain its importance. You will see its importance when we will learn how to use expression. To avoid any confusion, just keep both names same. But it should be different from the existing parameters. Under this page option, select Text option. This means we are adding new control on text page, here in the inspector. Make it sure this animatable option is checked. Also turn on this integer option. Here in the range option, type the maximum range, for example I want maximum range of 25,000. In this box, you can select the types of controls, and here we want the slide control. Now click on OK. Now you can see we have added new control here on the bottom of the text page. And we can change the numbers by changing this slider. To show these numbers on our screen, just right-click here in the blank area, and click on Expression. Now connect this little plus icon to the number counter as shown in the video. You can see it is visible on our screen. You can still edit controls from here by right-clicking on its name and by selecting Edit Controls. For example, if you want to change this slider control to Screw Control. Or if you want to increase the maximum range. Now let's talk about adding symbols next to the number counter, which can't be added by typing it here in this box. And if you try to add any text by adding another text node, you may see this problem. When you change the slider, the symbol will not stick to the main text. Don't worry, here is the solution. Let's delete these nodes first. We just need this expression and I will provide it in description box of this video. You have to copy and paste it here. But you can see it is not working, and our nodes are red. It means there is some problem in our naming of the controls. Actually, the name here in the expression should match with the ID of our new slider which we have created for the number counter. You can see the ID is not matching. Best way is to edit the expression as per ID of our new parameter. You can use any application like Notepad or Microsoft Word to edit the expression, because it is difficult to edit it here in the small box. Once we match this name in the expression, and copy and paste it again in this box, it will start working. You can see it's now working. Now, you can type any word or symbol between these double quotation marks, and copy-paste the whole expression. Type the symbol here if you want to add symbol before the number counter, and type it here if you want to add it after the number counter. Copy and paste it. Now it's very easy to animate this slider using keyframes to make it look like the numbers are increasing. You can still use other features of the text node as you want, like changing its color and stroke, etc. Now if you want to save it as a preset, just select the background node, and change its alpha value to 0, to make the background transparent. Now come back to the edit page, and rename this fusion composition as you want. Now just drag and drop this fusion composition into your power bins. If you can't see power bins, click on these three dots, and click on Show Power Bins. Now suppose you are in another project, you can reuse this effect just by searching it in your power bins. You can drag and drop this fusion composition onto your timeline and also edit it in Fusion page. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. Don't forget to check out my free course for documentary-style video editing. Thanks, and see you in another video. One thing more, I always edit the expression from this little box only. We just need to use left and right arrow keys of our keyboard to move the cursor, and find the right place where we want to make any changes. In this video you will learn some basic to advanced techniques, to move an object along any path. Like this little dot moving along straight line, or any custom paths, or moving it along perfect circular path, etc. And how you can do same thing with any object or logo like this, and some other things you need to know to make any other animations related to path animation. So, let's start with a new Fusion composition, and open it in the Fusion page. I am just using a black background. Connect your background to the Media Out node. Now we will create this little circle, or we can say a dot. Grab a background node and also connect an ellipse node to its mask input. Let's see this in the left preview window. We can change its color by changing the color of the background node. Now merge this onto our background image like this. We can change the size of this dot from here, or from its width and height also. But we want a perfect circle, and we can right-click on height, then click on expression. And connect the height with its width. So that we change its size simultaneously to keep it a perfect circle. So here we have created a little dot on a black background. If I move the center position of this ellipse node to left side like this and add a keyframe. And at the end of the clip I move this to right side. You can see a path has been created automatically for its animation. This is the most basic form of a path which is created automatically whenever we animate any object using X and Y coordinates. We can also modify the path and make it a curve. Now let's reset this center parameter by double-clicking on it. We can create our custom path by using this polygon node. With this polygon node selected, we can draw any shape or path, here on the preview screen. If you accidentally click and add extra point, just use Ctrl-Z to undo. Or turn on this Modify Only option. So, we can select all these points and make the curve smooth from here. We can also modify individual points. We need not to connect this polygon node to the pipeline if we only want to use this path. But if you want to show this line in your animation, you can connect the polygon node with the pipeline. So, let's try to merge it here by using a merge node. Make it sure to connect it with the green input, because it will automatically get connected with the blue mask input. Now we can increase its border width to see it. If you want to change its color, just use a background node and connect it like this. This background node allows us to change the color. Coming back to the main topic, let's use this as a path to animate the little dot along this path. First of all, we need to delete this keyframe. Because whenever we add a polygon node, a keyframe is added automatically. So, just click on it to remove this keyframe. Now right-click here and select Publish. This means we have published this path and now we can use this path information in any other node. Even if we disconnect this node from this pipeline. Now select the ellipse node and right-click on Center and click on Path. This will turn on the Modifiers tab. Delete the keyframe which is added automatically. Now right-click here. Go to Connect to. Then Polygon 1, then click on Value. Now go to Path 1. You can see the dot is connected with our path and we can change its position from this displacement option. Let's connect this polygon and see this line. With the ellipse node selected, you can animate the dot along this path as you want, using this displacement control. Now if you want to create another path, add another polygon node. Always rename the node if you are using more than one path. Otherwise, you will get confused. Now draw the path, remove this keyframe, and publish it. Go to the ellipse. Reset this first and then right-click and select Path. Go to Modifiers tab, delete this keyframe. Right-click here, Connect to, select our new polygon, then Value. Now go to this path and change its displacement. Try it few times, it's very easy. Now if you want to animate this dot along a circular path. Unfortunately, you cannot use this ellipse node or this rectangle node. Because you can see these nodes don't have that option. Like this polygon node. So, let's delete these ellipse and rectangle nodes. There is another way to make circular path. Let's grab a new polygon node. We can create the perfect circle using this polygon node. So, with this polygon node selected, right-click anywhere in the preview screen. Go to Polyline, then go to Create. Here we can create a circle or a rectangle. Let's click on the ellipse for making a circle and type here the values and click on OK. Let me merge this on our background to see this. Now we can see the circle. We can select all points to change its position. Now do the same thing, delete this keyframe, right-click and publish it. Now go to our yellow ellipse, and do the same process to connect this dot with the circular path. You can see now it is moving along the circle. And we don't need to connect this node with our pipeline to use its path. So, instead of this yellow circle, if you want to use any other object like this logo, just bring that logo and merge on the background like this. And in its merge node, we can connect its center position to our path. Just do the same process to connect it. See, it is moving along this path. Keep in mind, you cannot change the size of logo from here, because this option is made for changing the size of overall path. See, it is increasing the size of path, not the logo. To change the size of logo, just use this Tools tab as we use it normally. Let's make it smaller. So, now you can see the logo is moving along this path. Moreover, these other options can be useful, for example, if you want to change the location of the overall path. I already covered this option, it changes the size of the path or this polyline. These parameters are for changing the path rotation on X, Y and Z axis. Finally, this heading offset is most useful control. Let's see another example to learn it in a better way. So, here I have connected this arrow to this path in similar way. And this heading offset is doing nothing. But if we go to Tools, and we know this angle option can be used to change the angle of our arrow. And if you right-click and select Connect to, then Path and then Heading. Now the arrow will always be pointing towards this line while the movement. And this heading offset can be used to change the angle of the arrow, in case we want to adjust its heading direction. Sometimes you may face another problem when you resize this arrow or any other object. I will talk about that problem in part 2 of this video, where you can also learn the arrow animation like this. Until then, keep practicing and don't forget to check out my other documentary style editing tutorials. See you in another tutorial. This is the part 2 of learning path animations, and we will learn how to create animations like this. First of all, let's talk about some common problems you may have to face while making this animation. So, here you can see I have made this arrow moving along this path. But it's not moving correctly. The reason is, we have connected the center of the image with this path. And if we see this image in left preview window, the arrow is not in the center of the image. By the way, you can turn on these guides by pressing Ctrl+G on the keyboard. So, you should always use the image where the object is in the center. Or you can use a transform node, and try to bring the object in the center. Let's add a transform node after this image, and try to bring the tip of this arrow in the center of image. Now you can see the tip of this arrow is connected to the path. Or we can say, we have used the tip of arrow as a pivot point. Let's bring the arrow in the exact center. Now see, it's looking fine. So, in this way you need to adjust the pivot point for better animations. Now select the polygon node. You can use this length and position parameters to animate this line form the starting point or ending point. The arrow animation can be made by using these options. Moreover, you can right-click on Length, and click on Connect to, Path 1 and then Displacement. In this way you can connect the arrow to the ending point of the line. And in the similar way you can use Position option to connect it with the starting point of the line. If the displacement option is not showing, it means you have not animated the displacement yet. In some cases, if the path have more curves in it, the arrow will not always remain connected with the line. This is because the path of the line and the image of arrow is calculated differently by the fusion. However, in case of straight line, it works perfectly. And for complex curves like this, we can animate it manually. Disconnect this length parameter from the displacement parameter. Just double-click on length to reset it and it will be disconnected. Now you can animate the arrow separately and then animate this line separately. So, let's try to create this arrow animation. It's the best way to create this using an adjustment clip. Suppose you are working here in the timeline. Just search and add an adjustment clip where you want to make the arrow animation. Extend its length as per your requirement. Now open this adjustment clip in the Fusion page. This is the benefit of an adjustment clip because you can see what is in the background, while making any effect in Fusion page. Let's create a path using a background node and polygon node and merge it here, like this. Draw a straight line. Increase its border width. Add the PNG of arrow, merge it here. Connect its center with the path as we did earlier. See, it is connected. Make some changes as per requirement and animate it along this path. Now in this polygon node, connect its length to the displacement parameter. It's simple. Now you can also use transform node after this image node, if you want to adjust its center without changing it from the merge node. Let's delete this node for now. And reset the polygon node. Draw any complex path with curves. Increase the border width. Delete this keyframe and publish this path. And in this merge node, let's reset it first. Connect its center to the path as we did earlier. See, it is connected. Decrease its size. Connect its angle to the heading. See, it's connected to the heading. Change its heading offset as per requirement. Let's animate it along the path. Now in this polygon node, keyframe the length to 0 at the starting point of arrow, which is the frame 70. And after few frames, increase the length up to the location of the arrow. On the same frame add keyframe on position also. Go few frames forward and change the position and try that the line stays connected with the arrow. Also fix this mismatching by adding additional keyframes. This is just like applying trial and error method. Let's try to animate it up to the ending point. Or we can make the length 0 at the last point. And adjust the position accordingly. I think this looks fine. Furthermore, you can also refine this animation. Like, you can change the color or the line using this background node. Or you can add some drop shadow. Let's search and add drop shadow here. But you can see it's not visible, because it is applied to the whole clip, not this arrow and the line. For example, if I add a color corrector node here, and make some adjustment, you can see it's affecting the whole clip. To fix this, we can disconnect the media in node. And connect a background node here and make it transparent by decreasing its alpha value to 0. You can see now, it is separated from the background. And the drop shadow is now visible. Now disconnect the media R node and connect it with the main media in node. And merge the whole stuff here like this and it should work properly. Oops. This is another problem that comes with this color corrector node only and it's not our topic. Let me fix this first. So, here you can see, the effect is only applying on the arrow and the line. Let's delete this color corrector node. So, in this way you can apply the drop shadow and soft glow also. Search and add soft glow and adjust its settings according to footage. So, this was the basic technique of making arrow animation. You can create your own style of animation with your creativity. Today we will learn how to create magnifying glass effect like this. And how we can generate this in free version of Davinci Resolve. I am using this map image and a PNG of a magnifying glass. You can use any image of map, but for the magnifying glass, make it sure to use PNG with a transparent background. You can easily get this image online and follow along with this tutorial. So, let's start by creating a new Fusion composition and open it in Fusion page. Always start with a background node and merge the main image on it like this. Then use a transform node to resize the image. It is very important to use all the image with the same resolution, which is the resolution of your timeline. Otherwise, it will create problem later while animating this effect. Now search and add a displace node to the pipeline. But this will not work. You have to connect a background node to the green input of the displace node. Now the zoom effect is visible. And if we add an ellipse node to the mask input of the displace node, you can see the zoom effect is visible only inside this ellipse. Now if I try to change its size from here, its shape will be spoiled. So, let's right-click on height and then click on expression. And connect the height with the width. In this way we can change the size from the width option while keeping it a perfect circle. Now right-click on the center and click on Publish. And in the Displace node, right-click on its center and connect it with the center of the ellipse node. Now if we try to move the position of the ellipse, the magnifying effect will look better. Now get the PNG of the magnifying glass. You can see its size is smaller. Let's fix it first. Grab a new background node, and make it transparent by decreasing its alpha value to 0. Then merge the PNG on this background. Now its resolution is correct. Let's merge all these to our pipeline, like this. Now connect the ellipse mask to this merge node also. Also add a transform node here to control the movement of the magnifying glass. We can control its position from here and the size from here. Now select the Merge 3 node and go to the settings and invert the mask. Now, you can see, if I move this magnifying glass, the ellipse mask is not moving along this PNG. Let's connect this center to the center of the ellipse node. We also need to fix the position of the magnifying glass to match it with the ellipse. Let me fix it first. Now if I select the transform node again, and try to move the center position, you can see both of them are moving together, because we have connected their center positions. Now do the same for this size option. We have to connect its size with the size of the ellipse mask node. But the size of the ellipse node is not showing here. This is because we have not published the size of ellipse node yet. Select the ellipse node, and right-click on Width option and publish it. Now go back to the transform node, and try to connect its size with the width of the ellipse node. You can see it has been connected, but we need to fix the size of the magnifying glass from its merge node. Let's increase it to the maximum. But it will not go beyond 5, we have to type here any larger number. Let's type 9. We also need to fix its center position again. I think it's fine for now, we can readjust it later. Now see, we have successfully connected its size and the center with the size and center of the ellipse mask node. Always remember, you have to use this transform node when you want to change the position and size of both the magnifying glass and the ellipse node at the same time. And you can use this merge node to change the position and size of the magnifying glass separately. Let's fix its position properly. We need to match the size and position of the magnifying glass with the ellipse node. Once it's matched, we will use the transform node to animate both of them. We can also select the ellipse node, and increase some soft edges for smooth edges. Just increase it a little bit. Now this looks fine. Another thing to keep in mind, you cannot animate its position from here, because we have published these parameters and already connected with other parameters. You can see these keyframe symbols are red. But if we go to the Modifier tab, we can animate its position from here. And we can use this Width option to animate its size. Let's try to animate it by adding keyframes on different frames. I am fast forwarding this, because we need to animate it as per the requirement of the background. See the animation. We can also make these points smoother from here. Just click on the point and then click on Smooth option. In this way you can make any path and adjust it as per requirement. See, the animation is ready. Furthermore, you can change the zoom using this Displace node. Just adjust the offset or the refraction strength. You can also use a brightness node, after the main background image. Decrease the gain. Use the same ellipse node as its mask. Invert the mask from the settings. And adjust the brightness as per requirement. This looks better. You can also add some text here and use your creativity to make more awesome effects. Just add it before the displace node. I am fast forwarding the video because it's very easy to add text, and this is not the main topic of this tutorial. This is the final video. And this is created in similar way. If you want to make it more professional, you can also select the transform node, and by going to the keyframes tab, you can use these keyframes to change location of the keyframes. This will help you to change the speed of the animation. You can also use the spline to make the animation smoother. This requires some practice to make better animations, and I can't explain all these in one video. If you are still watching, I have a bonus tip for you. You can use a fast noise node instead of this background node. And you can use the same settings that we used in this liquid glass effect video. This will make a next level effect and it will look more interesting. Finally, if this video will get 100k views, I will make a plugin for this effect, which will be free for all of my subscribers. And before 100k views, keep checking the description of this video to get this plugin for free. You just have to complete little tasks provided by me to support this channel. Thanks for watching.